Good afternoon. We'll call the meeting to order. This is a special meeting of the Charlestown Redevelopment Commission meeting for September 23rd, 2024, or 25, I'm sorry. If everyone would please rise as we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Do a roll call vote, determine the quorum. Anita Pate.
Here.
Bobby Brooks.
Here.
John Spencer is absent. Chuck Deaton is also absent. Derek Combs is present, and we do have a quorum. First order of business is old business. We have the Commons, two resolutions for the Commons here on the square. Right, Jill?
Yes.
We have resolution 2025 R2 recommending the award of a public-private agreement.
Matt, would you like to explain it? Or would you
Sure.
like me to?
I can explain it.
Great,
So
thank you.
part of the DOT process is, you know, as a redevelopment commission, last spring, you all authorized the issuance of the RFQ for the Commons and the Short Street Parklet project. And so this next step is, now that all the proposals are in, they've had, you all and Jill have had a chance to review them. This step basically is, you are making a recommendation to the council on who to award it to. And the resolution awards the public-private agreement, or also known as the BOT agreement, to GM Development Companies LLC, or an affiliate thereof. And the reason we always do the or affiliate thereof language is because sometimes developers like to create a single purpose entity when they do a project. And so in case Greg Marks decides to do that, that's why it has the or affiliate thereof language. It does state it recommends an award in an amount estimated to be approximately $2,800,000. Now that's pretty similar to the GMP that we all received from Mac Construction and GM Development. It also includes the one add-on that you all discussed a month or so ago. And the resolution also recommends that the council hold a public hearing, which they're required to do under the BOT statute, and it authorizes the commission to sign BOT agreement and any documents relating thereof. And so, should you all approve this resolution tonight, I went ahead and sent a public hearing notice to Jill for her to get it published in the local paper that mentions your all's recommendation and the upcoming council hearing. And so, according to the current timeline, the council is going to hold the public hearing and make the BOT award during their October meeting, which is on Monday, October 6th. So, happy to answer any questions you all might have about the resolution.
And if I can add, the reason that one of the reasons we're doing this, and Matt mentioned it's going to go to the council, the city's original authorization or resolution allowing the use of this type of procurement requires that even though the commission can act on its own, then any of those agreements have to go through the city council. So,
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Matt. If there's no questions, I'll ask for a motion to approve resolution awarding the agreement to GM Development for the price of approximately $2.8 million.
That makes a motion.
A motion by Bobby,
I will second the motion.
second by Benita. Is there any further discussion? For a vote to approve, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Second resolution is a bond resolution for the same project, right, Jill?
it is. What we had discussed before is issuing some short-term debt to help pay for this project, as our TIF revenues might not be sufficient to cover this project and other obligations over 2026. And there's some specific time frames that we're trying to hit with the construction of this project. but the commission would be able to cover that cost if it were spread out a little bit further. So Matt and his team, along with Baker Tilly, have provided some information for us. And with that, Matt, I'll turn it over to you to explain anything else related to the resolution.
Sure. So as Jill mentioned, this bond resolution would provide interim financing for the Commons project, as well as cover related costs such as the cost of issuance of selling and issuing the bond anticipation notes. Now, the bond resolution also authorizes bonds to be issued to take out the bond anticipation notes. Now, I think the hope is that there'll be enough TIF revenues generated next couple of years that won't be necessary. But in order to get local banks and stuff to purchase these bond anticipation notes, it is necessary to provide a legal mechanism in the bond resolution to take out the short-term financing. So the bans, according to state law, are for a term not to exceed 5 years. Again, that's set by state law. We used some parameters that Baker Tilly provided for some of the other maximum parameters. Again, these are just maximum parameters. If interest rates are below that, then obviously that's fine. But the maximum interest rate is 6% per year. The bond anticipation notes have a maximum amount of $3 million. So again, that covers the project cost based on the GMP from the developer, cost of issuance, debt service reserve, if for some reason the purchaser requires that. So as far as like the security of how the financing is secured, the way that the bond anticipation notes are structured is that during the term of the bond anticipation note, interest payments are the only thing that the commission will have to pay twice a year. And then the principal of the notes will be secured by the bonds if they're issued. I also included language in the bond resolution saying that the commission at its sole discretion may pay principal on the notes from any other sources legally available, which is basically TIF revenues. So there is flexibility there. The commission does not have to issue bonds if there's enough TIF revenues generated during the term of the note before the note comes due. And so the interest on the notes, as well as the bonds, if they have to be issued, are payable from essentially all of the existing TIF areas except for North Clark Hospital, which is not generating much at this time. So Central Charlestown, Indiana American, Renaissance, Depot Street, and Shadow Lake are the TIF areas pledged to the payment for the bonds if they need to be issued, as well as interest on the bond anticipation notes. So that's what secures the debt, in other words. The bond resolution does describe what the outstanding obligations are that are pledged to TIF, and so that's what some of the recitals are about, because the bonds and the interest on the bond anticipation notes have to be on an equal footing with those outstanding obligations. So that's why we had to mention all those other obligations that are outstanding. And then again, the reason so there's a lot of other provisions in the bond resolution that are pretty standard as far as how the notes can be sold. We anticipate that the notes will be sold through a private placement with local bank, but we also provided other options to provide for maximum flexibility. The clerk treasurer will likely serve as the registrar paying agent for the notes. And really there's language in here about the redemption of the notes, so that, in other words, the notes can be prepaid without penalty after 1 year. Baker Tilly recommended that we have the 1 year in there to make the notes more marketable.
The only other thing that I would add, Matt, is you also, I think it's in that resolution, put in a clause to allow for reimbursement. Is it in this one or the other one?
It's this one.
This one.
Yeah.
The issue with the Commons project in particular and the time frame is we would like to have that project completed as quickly as possible, but in hopes of getting that done before the festival at the end of June, beginning of July. And the pavilion itself has a very long lead time, and if we can order it in October, it very well may come in April, and then it has to be assembled and put on site. So I asked Matt and his team if there's something that they could do, that if we could put some provision in there that we won't be able to really award the agreement until the financing is in place, but there's a reimbursement provision there that would allow the city to reimburse the contractor for, they'll allow that expense and reimburse the contractor for the expense of that long lead time, if we wish to do so.
Yeah, again, this provides more flexibility and to clarify what we're contemplating doing, and it's not in this particular resolution, but and the council, when the council approves their bond resolution early next month, there's also going to be reimbursement language, and then basically then anytime when the council makes the award October 6th, the bond anticipation notes are planning on closing November 4th. So in between October 6th and November 4th, with these reimbursement provisions in place, that provides flexibility for those expenses, like the materials that have a long lead time, to go ahead and be ordered prior to the short-term financing closing in early November. So happy to answer any questions you all might have about the bond resolution.
So just to reiterate, the provision for that reimbursement will be added in once council approves their bond resolution.
Correct. So we have reimbursement language in here for tax purposes,
Right.
because it's going to be a tax exempt note. But in the council BOT award resolution next month, we're going to have authorization as well that allows the commission to enter into what's called a BOT reimbursement agreement with the developer. And the reason for that is that if the BOT agreement was just signed like in early October, there's a risk that something could fall through somehow with the notes, and then the commission would then be on the hook for the full BOT amount. And so the reimbursement agreement, how that'll be structured is it will authorize the developer to order materials up to a certain amount, whether it's $300,000 or some other
So
amount.
we've talked about that, because just to make sure that we've got enough for that long lead time item.
Yeah, so the bulk of the work and everything will occur like once the notes close in early November, but anyways, and then during your regular October meeting, we always, because you all meet the day after the council meets, which for this works pretty well. So at that meeting, we're planning on having a resolution, and we did this for a couple of the other BOTs in the past, but where you all affirm the council's award to GM Development, and in that resolution, we're going to attach a substantially final form of the BOT reimbursement agreement as an exhibit, and that resolution is going to also approve entering into the reimbursement agreement. So council is going to approve the reimbursement agreement, and you guys will as well at the early October meeting. So
I thank you for explaining that. I wanted you all to know that, because I know that's an issue in getting that item ordered, and if we have to wait until November, that pushes us out pretty far. So thanks, Matt.
All right, thank you both for the detailed explanation of that. Ask for a motion to approve resolution 2025 R3 bond resolution.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second that
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Ask for a vote to approve. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Is there any further new discussion tonight? No new discussion. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 7th, 2025 at 6 p.m. I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
I'll second
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.